Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivara Jagacaya Sota Satu Shishavachila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivara Jagacaya Sota Satu Shishavachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunathi Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Saraghunathar Goswami Prabhu Ki Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivadhari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Cham Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Mayapura Dham Ki Jai Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Ramana Deva Ki Jai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nashtabaye sabadesho nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Ete chamsa kalapumsam krishnastu bhagavan sayam. Indriyari vyakulam lokam nidyante yuge yuge nama sanketanam yasya sarva papa pranasanam pranamo dukha samanastam namami harim param. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Govika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the day is a very auspicious day, auspicious tithi. Of course, in Vrindavan every day is auspicious, but according to our calendar, today is the appearance day of Sisi Radha Ramanju, and also Krishna Pooldol Utsav, boat festival, Shalila Vihar, and so water pastimes of the Lord. And also it is the appearance and disappearance day of some great personalities, associates of Mahaprabhu, Parameshwar Das, Srila Madhavendra Puri, and also Srinivasacharya. So first we will speak about these devotees of the Lord. So in order to get their mercy, so we may be able to glorify also Radha Raman, Radha Shyama. First of all, Sri Parameshwari Das Thakur, or Parameshwar Das Thakur, an associate of Mahaprabhu, and specifically also it is mentioned that he was completely surrendered devotee at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So he was always accompanying Nityananda Prabhu. So not so much is mentioned, but Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that anyone who remembers his name, Parameshwar Das, will easily attain love of Krishna. So even just doing Jaikar, Srila Parameshwar Das Prabhu ki. So we will get love of Krishna very soon. But very soon it may take some time also. So we have to be patient. So after Nityananda Prabhu left, he humbly served Janavama, the eternal consort of Nityananda. And after Nityananda Prabhu left, actually many devotees, they were taking shelter of Janavama. So she was, of course, very, very humble, but being the consort of the Lord, so full of love for Nityananda Prabhu, and of course also so much love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so she was giving guidance to many devotees. So Parameshwar also took shelter, and as we know by the acharyas that after the Nityananda Prabhu's disappearance and Mahaprabhu disappearance, the first festival of Gopurnima, which we are observing every year, So that was performed in Keturi Dham by one of Mahaprabhu's also dear devotee, Narottam Das Thakur, who was very much blessed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, so Narottam Das Thakur, he was very expert singer, singing very beautifully. And so he was leading the kirtan. And at that day, actually, they installed a few sets of Radha Krishna deities. And Srinivasacharya, today is also his appearance day, we will talk about him also. He was there presiding over the installation ceremony. And Janavama was there and she was taking care of the kitchen. As usually ladies, they are expert in cooking. So she was most expert and she was guiding the devotees in cooking for the deities and feast for all the devotees. So at one time when Janava Maharshi came to Vrindavan to bring, I just mentioned a deity of Srimati Radharani for Govinda Devji. Actually later on in Jaipur, the deity was installed there of Radharani. So at that time, Parameshwadas, he was accompanying Janavama. It is mentioned that Parameshwadas is one of the Dwadash Gopal, 12 associates of Mahaprabhu, of Nityananda Prabhu, who are cowherd boys in Braj, so named Arjun. And his samadhi is there. There's one place, Chosat Samadhi, 64 samadhis are there in Vrindavan, and so his samadhi is there. So we pray for his mercy so we may be able to develop genuine love for Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then for Sri Radha Krishna. Sri Parameshwar Das Thakur ki. Next, so we will speak about Srinivas Acharya. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas at an early age, just before his 25th anniversary in Katwa, which is not so far from Mayapur. It was Makara Sankranti, and so winter time. So at that time, so one devotee was there. His name was Chaitanya Das, and his wife was with him. And she was pregnant. And after the sannyas ceremony, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri and he stayed there, actually till the end of his life, his pastimes here. Of course, he was also traveling to South India for almost 2 years. South India even up to Dwarka and then back to Jagannath Puri. And he stayed also for 2 months. He went to Sri Vrindavan Dham. But otherwise he was mostly in Jagannath Puri, chanting and dancing. So, chanting the holy names, and in the evening discussing with his associates, Sarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, about the wonderful pastimes of Radha Krishna. So when Chaitanya Das and his wife arrived in Jagannath Puri, they took darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Chaitanya Das that your wife will give birth to a son, and he should be named Srinivas. Of course, Chaitanya Das immediately agreed to that instruction or proposal of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then mentioned through Srinivasacharya's through Srinivasacharya, all the Bhakti Shastras, the transcendental literatures of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami will be distributed. So when his father left this world, Srinivas visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga in Katwa, Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. And they all blessed Srinivasacharya and gave him valuable instructions for his spiritual advancement. Of course, he's an eternal associate of the Lord, but at the same time, the associates of the Lord, when they come in this world, they appear to be acting or having their life just like an almost ordinary sadhaka, practicing devotee. And they are always very humble, and that is a symptom of a Vaishnava. He's extremely humble, and he doesn't think himself to be so qualified. And rather he will offer all worship to others, or he will express his humility, that I do not have any love for Mahaprabhu or Krishna. So, but then they will take shelter of the Sini devotees, just to set the example actually, their life is there as practicing devotee, to show that we should take shelter of the Sini devotees and try to please them. So the devotees, of course, they blessed him and they understood that actually he is very much favored by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they expressed also that he is the embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also known as Gaura Shakti. Nama Bhaktivinodaya Satchidanandanamini Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanugavaraite. And the followers of Rupa Goswami. Similarly also, Srinivasacharya, he was a follower of Rupa Goswami. And in our line, Sampradaya, we are known as Rupanuga Vaishnavas, followers of Rupa Goswami. So after he decided to go to Vrindavan, he came to Vrindavan and he was visiting all the holy places in Braj, doing Braj Mandal Parikrama. So visiting the 12 main forests and the pastimes places of Krishna. And then he decided to take initiation from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So we'll talk about Gopal Bhatta Goswami also in a little while, because he was instrumental for the appearance of Radha Ramana. And he took shelter also of Jiva Goswami, who was, after the disappearance of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, he was the foremost, considered to be the foremost scholar. And so he took shelter of Jiva Goswami. And even, of course, we know Gopal Bhatta Goswami was similarly a great scholar. He actually helped Sanatana Goswami in the compilation of Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is also an important book for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in regards to following the rules and regulations, the 20 chapters, and also in regards to worship of the Lord. So, and also he helped Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami himself has mentioned in the Satsandarbhas that by the mercy of Gopal Bhatta Goswami have been able to compile the Satsandarbhas. So he was a great scholar. So, but after Gopal Bhatta Goswami left, so Srinivasacharya, he took shelter of Jiva Goswami. And he was practically the Acharya of all the Vaishnavas. And devotees from, not only from here, but even from Bengal, and different places of India, they sent their disciples to Jiva Goswami to study. So he wrote many important books, Satsandarbhas, Harinam Vyakaran, so how to learn Sanskrit with Krishna in the center. So otherwise there's another book by Panini in how to learn Sanskrit, but Krishna is not much in the center there. So Srinivasacharya was very scholarly also, and therefore Jiva Goswami gave him the title Acharya, Srinivasacharya. And so accepting the order of Jiva Goswami, Srinivasacharya and his two friends, Shamananda Prabhu and Narottam Das Thakur, they started book distribution. The first book distribution party is Srinivasacharya, Shamananda and Narottam Das Thakur. Sankirtan Yagya Ki. So they were going by bullock cart and having the books of the Acharyas. And specifically at one time they were going towards, from Vrindavan to Orissa, and then also to Bengal and to Assam, to distribute books of the Acharyas. At that time there was no printing press like now, and it is very easy to print books and distribute books, but they were copying by hand. And actually as they were going towards Orissa on the way, there was one king, but he had a bad habit of stealing the money and the belongings of the pilgrims who were going towards the holy places. And he had an astrologer, and so he was then checking with the astrologer to see when some people are coming, some pilgrims who have some wealth. So which is also misuse of astrology. And the king was also misusing his position as a king. A king is supposed to be the representative of the Lord, and he should be devotee, and he should try to engage the praja, the citizens, in the worship of the Lord. So the astrologer one day, so he told the king, there's some persons coming from the holy place of Vrindavan, and they have vast amount of wealth with them. And they're coming the next day in your kingdom. And so the king immediately sent his men to look for these pilgrims who are entering his kingdom, who have a lot of wealth. So these were actually Srinivasacharya and Narottam and Shamananda Prabhu on a bullock cart, who had a few trunks with books, which are actually most valuable, transcendental literatures. So these are the most valuable things. And actually it is mentioned the Brahmanas, they don't have so much wealth, but they have knowledge, they have the scriptures, and they are content with that kind of wealth. They don't need so much money and a big house or so much opulence. But they have the scriptures, they have the knowledge, they have Krishna in their heart, or Mahaprabhu, these devotees. So at night time, so they entered the kingdom and they were taking rest. And so with the help of the astrologers, so the king's men, they found the Sankirtan party, and they saw the trunks of books. They saw the trunks, they didn't know the books are inside there. So they stole the trunks and brought it to the king. And next morning the three devotees, they woke up, hoi hoi, all the books are gone. And they were devastated. Most valuable books of the Acharyas, of the Goswamis, of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and we're supposed to distribute them. Jiva Goswami's books. So the three of them, they discussed what to do. Srinivasacharya said, let me stay here and let me look for these books. And both of you can go and to Orissa and Assam and you can preach there. So which they did, Narottam and Shyamananda Prabhu. And he was then just trying to find out where these trunks could be. And he was asking the people and told them that somebody stole our trunks. And then they hinted to him that the king, so he is not so righteous person, and most probably he and his men stole the trunks, thinking that some valuable things are in there. And then Srinivas, then he went to the palace of the king and he told him, I'm a Brahmana, so if you need my help, I can maybe do some Brahminical activities. And so then he said, okay, you can stay here. And then he found out actually from the king, and he was saying that we got some trunks here with some books. We thought that some valuable things are in there, but we don't know what to do with these books. And maybe you can have a look at these books and maybe you can use them for something. And then he showed him the trunks, he opened and he saw the books. And he was very happy, and then he said, yeah, these are some literatures which are actually valuable. Very valuable literatures are there, because they explain about the Supreme Lord and devotional service, and that is the most valuable thing is actually the Supreme Lord, Vasta Vastu. And if we engage in the service of the Lord, we can be satisfied. And it is more valuable than anything in this world. And so by the influence of Srinivasacharya, he became a devotee and he gave up this bad habit of plundering the pilgrims who were going through his kingdom. And so he was grateful to Srinivasacharya and he let him go with his books, and so then he could go on. So he was an eternal associate of the Lord, and so he was chanting the holy names, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there are three stages of a devotee, of a pure devotee. Antardasha, Madhyadasha and Bahyadasha. That is for the pure devotees. The sadhakas, they have Bahyadasha, the external platform as a sadhaka. If I'm a little more purified, they come on Madhyadasha, the intermediate platform where they can be somewhat absorbed. But to be fully absorbed and enter the pastimes of the Lord, so that is only possible for the pure devotees. So Srinivasacharya was chanting the holy names, and then sometimes he came in Antardasha. And so then he saw himself there in the service of Srimati Radharani. And so one time, Holy Leela was going on. Holy, famous Leela of throwing colors on each other, which is famous in Braj, starting from Vasant Panchami till Gopurnima for 40 days. Holy Utsav is there in Braj since Krishna's time. He started that. And still up to now it is there in many villages. So for 40 days, Holy Utsav is there. So Krishna and Radharani, they were there. And Krishna with his friends and Radharani, her gopis were there, and throwing color on each other, powder, and with a syringe also, water, and that is explained also by Kavi Kannapurna in his book, Ananda Vrindavan Champu. They were making some kind of balls with flower petals also and throwing at each other. So then they called Srinivas in his Manjari Sarup, Mani Manjari, you please come and help. So the gopis on Radharani's side, they were saying, and then she also came and helped in throwing colors and Krishna and the gopas. And then, as we know, when you throw color, what is happening? You are full with colors. And then suddenly, so his meditation broke, and he was there sitting with his japamala, and then he saw he was covered with colors of this holy festival. And it was very fragrant. So he was also surprised of such a fragrance, divine fragrance is there. It is mentioned another time he was chanting the holy names, and then he was absorbed in Gaur Lila and seeing Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, in the spiritual realm. So most of the associates of Mahaprabhu, they are there in Gaur Lila, in the spiritual world, and at the same time they are there in Krishna Lila. And when the material world is manifest, they also come to this material world. But when they are here, doesn't mean they are not there. They are always there in Gaur Lila and Krishna Lila. So in Navadvip, also known as Shvetadvip, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seated on the golden Vyasasan, and Srinivas was there, and he had a beautiful garland made with 5 kinds of flowers, like Krishna also has beautiful garlands. So also for Mahaprabhu they are offering beautiful garlands. And he offered the garland in meditation, in absorption. So, and then he was offering the garland to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was very pleased, and he kept it for a little while, and then he gave back the garland to Srinivas in Shvetadvip Navadvip in the spiritual realm. But then, so he was sitting here in Vrindavan, and then the same mala was there on his body. So the acharyas have explained. So, and these wonderful pastimes are there. There's one pastime of Prabhupada in Jhansi. When he was in Jhansi, he established the League of Devotees there. And actually he installed the Gonitai Diti there. And he was doing a little preaching there, and he made one devotee there, Prabhakar Das. And he used to come to Vrindavan sometimes also. I met him a few times. And so he was telling the devotee that Prabhupada at one point, so he was chanting in the evening the holy names of the Lord for a few hours. And then suddenly later on he came, the disciple, and he saw Prabhupada had a very beautiful garland. He didn't know from where. And this garland also had a divine smell. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we also understand. So Prabhupada internal associates of Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So that is Antardasha. They can be there in the pastime. So but otherwise one is in Bhayadasha. Yes, I'm the servant of Krishna and I have to serve Krishna, I have to chant the holy names or study the scriptures. And we try to remember inside also Krishna sometimes while chanting or other times. As Mahaprabhu told, Amani Namanana Krishna Namasara Labe Braja Radha Krishna Seva Manase Karibe. We should be humble, not expect any respect, give all respect to others, and always chant the holy names. And within one's mind, one should serve Radha and Krishna. So it is a matter of practice, and it takes some time to become a little expert in that, even long time. So if one is absorbed while chanting, so that is known as Madhya Dasha, and so one is somewhat free from the modes of material nature, has come to the highest stage of nature, Nishta, Ruchi or Rasakti, then he feels so much transcendental pleasure, that is Madhyavasta, but he cannot enter the Leela of the Lord. But then in the highest stage, he may see the Leela of the Lord, but he cannot enter. That is only for the eternal associates, they are there. And once perfect, then after giving up the body, we may be able to go where Krishna performs his pastimes of Mahaprabhu, then we can enter the Leela. So, It is a very gradual process, so we should try to make more and more advancement by sincerely, especially chanting the holy names and then serving according to one's capacity. But very important anga, name of devotional service, to hear about the Lord's pastime, Mahaprabhu, Krishna's pastimes, and the pastimes of the associates of the Lord. So, Srinivasacharya ki. So today is the appearance day of Madhavendra Puri. So also an eternal associate of the Lord, of Krishna. And so he came in this world like many of the associates of Krishna, of course, then also of Mahaprabhu. And so they appeared before Mahaprabhu, just like Jagannath Mishra, the father and the mother, they have to appear before. And then also Advaitacharya and the spiritual master of Mahaprabhu, Ishvara Puri. And so the spiritual master of Ishvara Puri was Madhavendra Puri. And he took initiation in Madhvacharya Sampradaya. So his spiritual master name was Lakshmipati Tirtha. And so Madhavendra Puri had many disciples. So foremost of them were Ishvara Puri, and also it is mentioned that Advaitacharya was disciple of Madhavendra Puri. It is mentioned that all the Vaishnavas in Bengal, in Jagannath Puri, and even later on then in Vrindavan also, they were connected to Madhavendra Puri. They accepted him as, of course, a pure devotee, as Diksha Shiksha Guru. So he was extremely renounced, and he was absorbed in chanting the holy names. And there's one vrat known as Ayaschit Vrat. So two kinds of beggars. One beggar is going from door to door to beg for some chapati or some buttermilk. But usually we'll only go to the houses of the saintly persons, householders also, only to the devotees. So they're intelligent. Another class of renounced person, they are not asking anyone for any food, for any prasadam. They simply depend on Krishna, especially by chanting the holy name. So that is known as Ayaschit Vrat. And they know they will get something to eat. And we can see even, for example, the animals, they're not begging from anyone, of course, except the dogs. They go to the people and they will ask for some. Or the monkeys, they steal the prasad. Otherwise, others, they just depend on nature and they're getting. Even the elephant is going here and there and he's getting whatever he's supposed to get. So it is also mentioned in Bhagavatam, some personalities were there, they were doing the Ayaschit Vrat. Just whatever comes to them, they will accept. And especially in a holy place, then the sadhus, the real renunciants, saintly persons, devotees, they are respected. And devotees are inclined to give them something. So usually was getting something to eat, but sometimes it happened nobody was bringing anything. And then no problem, he was just drinking some water and chanting the holy names. So one time, Krishna was feeling compassionate and was thinking, my Madhavendra Puri is hardly eating anything. Since 2 days he didn't eat anything. So let me give him some milk. So he came. He's a coward boy. He's the Supreme Lord, but there is a coward boy. Well, he was disguised, so he could not recognize him that he's Krishna. He was hiding his flute and putting some chandan on his body, so he could not see his blue color, like Chandan Yatra, that is, we are observing. And that is also by the mercy of Madhavendra Puri that this festival is observed amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, so then he came there and told Baba, Madhavendra Puri, my mother sent me here to give you some milk because, so you have not eaten anything for the last days. So I said, he was very much attracted to that young boy, and I was thinking, this young boy is so beautiful, very amazing. But he could not recognize that this is Krishna himself. Then he said, thank you very much, and he took the little clay pot with the milk, and he drank, and then he became so ecstatic, and he fainted. And then he realized that this was actually Krishna who came. And so what he did, he broke the pot also, and he kept, and every day he was eating a little bit of that also. And then actually Krishna appeared to him and told him that, the Muslims, they came here one time, and then my devotees, they were hiding me in one place, burying me in the ground. So you please go there and then you take me out from there and do my worship. And then, so he was very happy. And next morning he asked some of the villagers, strong men, to come to that place. So where he saw in the dream. And they went there, and they were digging, and then they saw the beautiful deity of Gopal. And then he established the deity, and he did an abhishek, and then they were doing a big offering, Anukut Mahotsav, which we also do for Govardhan Puja time. And he then engaged some disciples actually of Sri Vallabh, the sons of Vallabhacharya. So he asked them to do the worship because he was a sannyasi. He didn't want to worship the deities all day, but he simply depended on chanting the holy names. So that deity later on was shifted to Natvar, the famous Natvar deity, Gopal, that is actually that came again by the mercy of the Lord himself and through Madhavendra Puri. And so, Sri Gopal Ju ki. And then one time in the summer, so he was doing his chanting, and then, so that was when Gopal was still there. Later on he was moved to Natvar. Then Gopal told him in a dream, it's very hot. You please go to Jagannath Puri and get some chandan, Malaya chandan from South India. They're selling in Puri, you can get it from there. So at that time, no airplane and no train, no cars. So it takes time to go there, maybe 1.5 months or something. So he went there, and then he got, with great difficulty, he got chandan. And actually on the way there, he went to Rimuna nearby, Puri, and beautiful deities are there of Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev and Gopinath. And then he offered his obeisances there, and he saw they were offering some kheer. And he was thinking, oh, let me try so I can offer that to Gopal also. But then he thought, oh, this is not proper. It is being offered to Gopinath, and already I'm thinking I should try. But he was not trying for, wanted to try for himself, but so he could offer something similar to Gopal. But then he left. I thought, I'm an offender. So he left the temple. But then Gopinath, he kept one small clay cup with its kheer, and then in the night time he appeared to the pujari and told him, I kept some of this kheer for my devotee, Madhavendra Puri. You please come and take it it is behind my dhoti, and give it to him. So he quickly got up, took a shower, and went on the altar and got the kheer, and then he went to the marketplace calling out, any devotee here called Madhavendra Puri? Madhavendra Puri. Yes, my name is Madhavendra Puri. Gopinath stole some kheer for you here. And he was so happy. And then he tried, and it was so delicious, of course. But then he thought, let me just go from here, because surely the pujari will tell anyone. He will tell everyone, and everyone will come and see me. So let me just go ahead to Puri. And of course, the next day, he told all the people, there's one devotee here, and Gopinath stole the kheer for him. His name is Madhavendra Puri. They were looking for him, but he was already gone. Because a pure devotee doesn't want to be glorified. He just wants to be in a humble position. So then he went to Puri, he got the chandan, and then he was going back. So because he had to come back before the Somar is over. He again arrived in Rimuna, and there Gopal came to him in a dream. It's a long way, it will be too difficult for you to come back to Vrindavan. You do one thing, you apply the chandan to Gopinath, and then I will be satisfied also, because we are not different. So then he told the devotees there, and they were very happy, oh, this chandan there for Gopinath, and then they were grinding and applying this chandan. So that is Chandan Yatra, Akshaya Tritiya, which was just a few days ago. And this Sunday we will apply again also, and on the 10th, or the last day of Chandan Yatra. This is going on also in Jagannath Puri. Since many generations, they offer Chandan to Jagannath on Akshaya Tritiya, and also there is a deity of Madan Mohan, Utsav Murti. They also apply to him for 21 days, but here in Braj is only for 1 day. Mostly they do only 1 day. And but in Puri they will do for 21 days, and then there's Shalila Vihar, Noka Vihar. We also had the next day of Chandan Yatra for 3 days at the Goshala. So that is traditional in Orissa. They will do for 21 days. In Mayapur, in our ISKCON temple, they do for 1 week. Here we do for 3 days for now. It was very beautiful. So the Shalil Vihar is their water pastime. And of course, Krishna water pastimes are there. When Krishna was here at the Jamuna sometimes, or at Govardhan, there also the pastime is there, Noka Vihar. So, but we don't have so much time to explain that, but beautiful pastime. Krishna becomes the boatman. And so, Srila Madhavendra Puri Pada Ki. So much more is there, but we don't have so much time. Well, one more thing, he's famous that, of course, he planted the seed of Braj Bhakti. And so that we have to mention, of course, by the arrangement of Mahaprabhu. So he was there to be able to plant the seed of Braj Bhakti, the transcendental loving sentiments of the associates of Krishna and Braj, and especially the gopis. So it is mentioned in Gorganadesh Deepika that Madhavendra Puri is a Kalpa Vriksha tree in Braj. He can give the fruits of Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. He's a tree, but he can give these paths because he understands everything. Some say that he's also maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Some personalities, they may have two forms. Even it is mentioned Pandavajun is actually also in Braj as Arjun Saka and Arjunia Gopi. So, transcendental pastimes of the Lord are there, and it is inconceivable, but we should simply listen and accept what the Acharyas have told. So, also, as Mahaprabhu, when he was in Puri, It was in Vipranamba Bhav, feeling separation from the Lord, which is important also. We should feel separation from the Lord. That will help one to advance more. But first we have to have some love for Krishna. If we don't have love, we cannot have the feelings of separation. And the more love we have, the more we can feel the Vipralamba Bhav, feelings of separation. And that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, so he was exhibiting in Puri. And that came also actually from Madhavendra Puri. And he actually wrote one verse, which actually is mentioned that also Srimati Radharani, when Krishna left from Mathura, she was saying this verse. Aidina Dayandranatha He Mathuranatha Kadavalokyase Ririyam Tvat Aloka Kataram Dayata Brahmayati Kim Karotyaham. O compassionate Lord, O poor of the humble, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Without seeing you, my heart has become very much afflicted. O my beloved, I am overwhelmed. What shall I do? So, of course, these are very deep feelings of separation of Srimati Radharani, and which also Mahaprabhu showed in Jagannath Puri. So this verse manifested in this world through the mouth of Madhavendra Puri, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to also recite this verse. Srila Madhavendra Puri ki. So also it is the appearance day of, so we'll just take 5 minutes more of Radha Raman. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami one time, so he was from South India, from Brahmana family, Srirangam, and Mahaprabhu went there and stayed there for 4 months during Chaturmas. And then he told Gopal, who was just a small boy at that time, you just stay here. But he actually wanted to go with Mahaprabhu, and he told him, no, you stay at home and you serve your parents. When they leave this world, then you can come to Vrindavan and you can meet me. So, but actually he was never able to meet Mahaprabhu, but he was blessed with some cloth of Mahaprabhu's Bahirvesh. So his cloth, sannyas cloth, and a small chowki on which Mahaprabhu was sitting place. So then he was there in Vrindavan, and one time he thought, let me just go to Gandaki river in Nepal for pilgrimage. And so he went there, took a bath. So he put the bucket inside and one lota to fetch the water from the bucket. And then he saw the Shaligram Shila were inside. He thought, what shall I do with Shaligram Shila? He put them back in the river. All the devotees are very eager, and sometimes they go and they ask, Shaligram Shila, where I can get? Like Radha Prabhu has 2,000 and more. He went there also to Gandaki river one time, Radha Prabhu. He went to Nepal to get a visa, and he went to Gandaki river also. So, and again he took it. Again Shilas were there. I don't need Shilas, put them back. And then again, and third time he thought, well, maybe they want to be with me, maybe they want me to serve them. And he took bath and he kept the Shilas. There were 12. 12 is auspicious number, is known as a kshetra also, if you have 12 shaligram. And one Dvarka Shila is auspicious. But if you have one, that's sufficient also. One Krishna. So, and he was worshipping for some time, and then, like yesterday in Nishinga Chaturdasi, we fast all day. And we chant the holy names and then Abhishek of Nishingadev. And he was chanting on that day, Nishinga Chaturdasi, and then he was thinking, it would be nice to have deities. See, the Shaligram, it would be nice to have deities like Rup Goswami and Jiv Goswami, so Radha Damodar and Radha Govind. Because Shaligram, you worship, but you cannot put them a dress. You can only give them a flute and maybe peacock feather and a crown, maybe one necklace, but no dress. So limited seva is there. He was thinking it would be nice to have a deity. So then, anyhow, we was chanting, and evening time offering prayers to Nishingadev and then taking rest. And the next morning, so he went to take bath, and he went to take bath in the Jamuna, and he used to take his shilas and give bath to the shilas in the Jamuna. And then as he was taking the shilas in the bucket and bathing, then suddenly he saw there was one Damodar Shila. Different shilas, they have different names according to markings, and he saw that Damodar Shila became Radha Raman Ju Ki. It's a very beautiful deity of Krishna. And of course he was overjoyed. And actually the day before on Nishinga Chaturdasi, also one devotee had given him some kind of dress and a flute. I was thinking, what shall I do? I only have Shaligram. But anyhow, then the next day, so this one Damodar Shila manifested as Radha Raman, and then he was very happily worshipping. And so on a daily basis, with the Shaligram also. And but then in his old age, then he was giving the seva to his disciple. So one Gopinathacharya, so and one more devotee was there, but he was the main who was worshipping Radha Raman and the Shaligram Shila. The Shaligram Shila is still there. They are actually kept at the Samadhi of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So where the Samadhi is on the side, the Shaligram Shilas are still there. And so the worship is still going on by the descendants of Gopinathacharya, who was householders. And so the family members, they are worshipping up to this day, and they are doing very nice seva there of Radha Raman. And then I have a name of Radha Nam, which they also decorate with some dress, and the crown is there, and little Shingasan next to Radha Raman, small place. So there's a nice Abhishek. Usually we'll start around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so you can go there. They use 500 liters of milk they're using, and then they have a nice offering. So nice seva is going on. Also, many devotees, they like Radha Raman very much, so we may go there for darshan. Sri Radha Raman Ju Ki, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami Ki, Sri Srinivasacharya Ki, Sri Madhavendu Puripada Ki, Sri Parameshwari Thakur Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Samaveda Bhakta Verinda Ki, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,